I'm Kathy Evans Williams, and in my many years as a divorce attorney, I have witnessed couples saying and doing some very hurtful things to each other. This can be very destructive to their children, their finances, and even to the individuals themselves. I like to help couples navigate through the compromises of an uncontested divorce. When your I do turns to I don't, you need a divorce with integrity. All right. So let's keep going with the children and let's talk about college. I'm sure you both want the children to go to college. Is that right? Yeah. All right. Because in our economy now, everybody needs to go to college. Now, might not be a 4-year college, might be a trade school, but you both want them to move forward after high school with their education, correct?
Correct.
All right. So we know it's not free. So now we have to talk about who pays. Let me throw out a suggestion. There is a statute that allows mom and dad to think about college and the payment of college once the child gets of college age. In the event that the child goes to college, then he or she has to first try to get student loans, grants, fellowships, and whatever's left becomes a parental contribution. This statute says if mom makes twice as much as dad, mom will pay twice as much as dad. If dad makes twice as much as mom, dad will pay twice as much as mom. If they both make about the same, mom pays 50%, dad pays 50%. Okay, so that's the essence of the 513 statute that I'm referring to. That's an option. Another option would be that you both agree that each month you're going to set aside some money in a trust or savings account toward the education of the children. Which one sounds better to you?
I like putting the money away in a trust or something like that.
Okay.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
Yeah, but how do you determine how much you're going to put away in a trust without actually getting that done here? Because you could say, okay, I'm going to put some money away in a trust. I'm going to put $5 there. Is there like a way that we could like figure out exactly how much we each have to put into the trust?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that brings us back to the income of both parties. So you would complete something called a disclosure statement that shows what your household maintenance bills and invoices and that kind of stuff, what that is. And then you would determine how much you have left over to be able to add to a savings plan, like a 529 plan or something like that. So yes, there's definitely a way that you can determine. You have to budget. Because, although you guys made a good salary together, I mean, you're splitting that up. You're going to have to deal with 2 separate households now.
And he makes a lot more money than I do. So it's not that I'm going to put in the equal amount that he's going to put in.
Okay.
Because since he makes more money, then he should have to put more in, correct?
Well, that's something that you two would agree upon. If you wanted to do something like that, certainly.
Well, seeing as I'm paying for the kids' clothes, giving them money for food, that doesn't really balance out to me.
You do that? You pay for the kids' clothes?
Let me just interject and say I really appreciate that this is not an easy situation. Thank you. What I would ask is just let's keep up that respect. Let's keep up that integrity. This is tough. This is tough for everybody. So let's try to keep those jabs to a minimum, okay? Okay. All right. Okay. So let's do this. We can actually look at the child support. Let's look at his income. You make $60,000 and he makes, let's say, I know she says 80, you say 70. Can we split and say 75? Are you comfortable with maybe 75?
Okay.
Okay, so let's just assume that it's about 75. And keep in mind, at the end of every year, you'll go ahead and give her your tax return so she can see what you're making. Okay? Okay, we'll get to that. Okay. But let's assume it's 60 and 75. Well, we know we have to pay taxes. So you're probably in about the 28% federal tax bracket, and you are too. So right away from this 75, we're going to subtract the 28%. We're also going to subtract 3% for the Illinois tax. Okay, so we'll subtract in total 31% for taxes. Does that sound about right? Okay, so if we have $75,000 and we subtract 31%, his net income is about, let's see, 75,000 minus the 23,250. So 75,000 minus 23,250 gives him a net of about $51,750. Same thing for you though, because you have to pay taxes too. So $60,000 minus 31% leaves you with about $41,400. So now we're comparing 41,400 to 51,750. 28% of his 51,750 is going to go to you for child support. So 51,750 times 28%. So that's 14,490 going to you. So we're going to subtract the 51,750 minus 14,490. So we're subtracting the 14,490 from him. So that's leaving him with a net income of 37,260. And we're going to add that to you. 14,490. So you are going to have about 55,890. You see what I did there? So the child support is going to be subtracted from him and added to you.
Okay.
So you wind up with a net of about 55,890, and he winds up with a net of about 37,260. So when we think about college contribution, we have to think about how much money do we have left over, and it becomes difficult. That becomes a difficult analysis at this point.
When you take the child support and you add that to my income, and you use that as my income when it's time to pay for college, that means the money that he's giving me to support the children is in turn hurting me because now I have to pay more for college.
Great point. And so what happens is when the children go to college, you no longer get the child support. Child support stops.
Okay.
So this analysis is used to determine right now how much money right now can we both afford to set aside. And it looks like that's a difficult proposition because right now you don't know how much you have left over. This is a brand new chapter of your life. You don't know how much your rent and gas and lights and all that are going to be at this point. So let's think about tabling the college contribution just until we get finished with this conversation, and then you may decide something like the 513 fits a little bit better. Okay? All right. Now, as it relates to health insurance for the children, I think you both currently have health insurance for the children. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. So who wants to keep the health insurance, or do you want to both keep the health insurance?
I'm fine with the kids being on my insurance.
Okay.
But I have co-pays.
Okay.
And premiums. I think that he should probably contribute to that.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
No.
Okay. What part of that do you not feel comfortable with?
Just paying it, period.
Okay. The co-pays?
The co-pays.
Okay. And when you say co-pays, just so that I'm clear, you mean the $10 or $5 fee that you have to pay?
$20.
Okay, 20. Okay. And in addition, there are going to be some things that aren't covered by insurance, like braces or other things that might not be covered, and you're asking for some compensation for that?
Yes.
Okay. And you're saying no to that?
Yeah.
Why would you say no to that?
I'm just probably being unreasonable. I guess that's not a lot to pay. I could pay that.
Okay. Well, you guys are really working through this. That's great. So I hear you saying you'll keep the premium, the health insurance, and you will participate with the copay. Now, when you say participate, do you want them to pay 100% of that? Are you going to share it 50-50, or how's that going to work?
We can do 50-50. I'll pay half. I'll pay for the co-payments. You can just help.
Okay, so let me just put some clarification on here. Although right now this is going great and I appreciate it, let me reiterate that. There may come a time when your pennies are a little tight and you need to go to a piece of paper that says, now how much is he supposed to pay? Right? Because then there's no more question. So just help is a little too generic. So we want to put
maybe 50%
okay.
of the copay. And
Okay.
the premium.
And the premium?
I mean, it's what I pay to have insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I'll deal with a premium. Just 50% of the copayment.
Okay. How does that sound to you?
That sounds fair to me.
You guys are rolling. All right. Let's think about life insurance for the minor children. Now, I know you both have life insurance through your job, and it's about 1.5 times your annual salary. What I would suggest is that perhaps you both keep that life insurance and you name the children as beneficiaries, irrevocable, so that you can't take them off. You can't change it. They're irrevocable beneficiaries, and you name the other parent the trustee, so that if something happens to you and you pass away, dad then becomes the person in charge of the money for the minor children. Or if you pass away, ma becomes the person in charge of the money that you leave for the children, so they are the beneficiaries. Does that sound okay?
No, I don't think she would. She doesn't handle money well. I don't agree that she would I believe she would mismanage the money.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's true. That's how I feel. You're not good with a dollar.
Okay. Keisha, how do you feel about that?
I would mismanage the money.
She can't even make up her mind.
Who managed the money in our household from day one?
Not you.
And we're leaving the respect right here, right?
Okay.
All in the air. Okay. Okay.
I don't you know what, the only problem that I have with that is that naming him a trustee,
Okay.
and in case something happens to me, in case I die, I'm gonna leave him handling my money.
Right, and that brings up a real important issue about estate planning, because you both will have to make sure that you have your estate planning completed once you two are divorced, because things are going to change. But if you decide to name somebody else as a trustee,
Yeah, that's what I'll be doing.
that'll be something that you could do since you're doing this by agreement. But we would have to put that in your documentation and provide that as part of the marital settlement agreement. So who would you want to name if
I
not
would name you
Dad?
before I named him as a trustee.
I don't do that. So, okay.
My mom.
How do you feel about that?
No.
Okay.
No. My mother.
Okay. All
But
right.
then it's two separate policies.
Right.
So your mother could be the trustee on your policy, and my mother could be the trustee on mine.
Okay.
How does that work?
That works.
That works. All we have to do is indicate that that's what's going to occur and that you both are comfortable with that.
Okay.
Okay. All
I can
right.
name him a trustee on a policy in case something happens to me. He killed me.
Oh my goodness.
He killed me.
Okay. All right. So we're moving past the life insurance because I think we're there.
Okay.
Don't leave your children or family in jeopardy. People of all income levels need a will to protect their family and surviving assets. Without a proper estate plan or will, the courts will determine who gets what and who will raise your children without considering your wishes. No matter your assets or your income, everyone needs the proper estate plan. My name is Kathy Evans Williams, and I want to make sure your family is protected.